has been a long trip, and I think we all felt that, not just the Kansas game, but this one in particular at the end of a long week was going to be very, very tough. And as I looked at, San Jose's final games and scheduling, this was an absolutely vital moment for them in their season. So it was always going to be really challenging. For the most part, I thought we did a very, very good job of managing the ball and managing the game. There was a period of maybe 10, 15 minutes in that second half where the woodwork and some bravery kept us earning some points. But aside that, I thought it was a very, very good performance. And, across the course of these two games, 4 out of 6 points is a vital haul for us.
Yeah, Gary, you just mentioned the 4 points from 2 games, but just considering the road trip, you guys were on the road for the whole week. Just how impressive are those 4 points, kind of just looking back at it?
Honestly, Ben, I do think, and I've just said to the guys in there, we come out of this week, this window, 2 very challenging games. When you get to this part of the season, and both teams are in with a shout of being in the playoffs, and it's challenging for every team, ourselves included, to earn the points that we have, and in the difficult conditions that we have, has been fantastic. But if you add to that the fact that once we get beyond this, you're looking at 4 out of 5 at home then. So, the final message to the guys in there was, look, this was always going to be challenging. The 4 points have put us in a very, very good position. We play teams that are in and around us in Philadelphia and New England. And of course, if we bring Orlando into that as well, teams that are above us and that we're trying to chase down. But just generally looking at what we've got left, I think in the main, most teams would like to be finishing the season off with the sort of schedule we have, albeit against some tough teams. So I think that underlines what we've produced here. We've kept ourselves in a good position, and we've kept ourselves in a challenging spot.
You kind of got into a little bit with the upcoming schedule, and 4 of 5 at home. You've talked about the home, like finishing in the home playoff spots as your goal. Do you still feel like that is an achievable goal? And with games coming up against the teams that you're kind of competing for, how important was it to kind of not just survive this road stretch, but get through it with points and set yourselves up down the stretch?
Well, yeah, as I said, I think it's underlined the fact that there is still a challenge that we well and truly are undertaking towards that top 4. Look, it would be, foolish of me to say that it could be a simple task, because it won't be. No, there's some very good teams fighting out for those top 4 positions, and also some very good teams in some good form as well. So it certainly won't be easy, but by earning the points we have and playing the way that we have on the road and keeping an unbeaten run going in some very difficult circumstances, we've given ourselves a chance. And I think the other, maybe 1 or 2 things to add to that, are the fact that guys like Sam, Randall, Teal back from suspension scores. We've got guys that we've been waiting for, that we've been looking forward to having back in the group. And slowly but surely, the minutes that those guys have had tonight will serve them well down the line for sure as well. So a very, very big week coming up next week. Starts off with a huge challenge against Seattle at home. And I think just about every team we're going to play against is hungry for points just the way we are.
Hey, Gary, you talked before this sort of most recent break about using this time for Sam Surridge to kind of get along or start understanding Hani Mukhtar and starting understanding each other. Have you seen any improvement there in terms of their sort of combination? And is Sam Surridge going to start getting a little bit more into the team as we go into this home stretch?
Yeah, I think the challenge, Valère, that we've had, that I did explain in the early part of this week, was that Sam actually picked up an injury in the game against Atlanta. You know, we need to go back as far as that. He didn't travel to Miami because of it. He aggravated it against Charlotte. And unfortunately, the window of time that we had off was really, for Sam, a recovery period. And he's worked very, very hard to get himself back into, you know, good health and a good physical position. But it's, of course, stunted that relationship, that fluidity that, of course, I'd love to have been working on and trying to foster in that period of time. So we're going to have to use the end of the season to up these minutes, as you've seen over the last couple of games. Slowly but surely, I'm hoping that he's playing time in and around not just Hanny, of course, but some of the other guys that are going to be instrumental in what we achieve from a creative standpoint. Those relationships grow. But it's going to be the games now that we have to really double down on.
In terms of Jacob Schaffelberg, was there any reason he didn't feature tonight?
No, not really. Purely tactically. You know, it looked to me like it was a very challenging and tight affair going into those last 20 minutes or so. I felt as though the guys that were out there had got to grips with the game to a large degree. And whilst Jacob is highly creative, I just thought that the balance of the group looked as good as it was going to look at that point. I've been delighted with Jacob. He was incredibly exciting when he came on again against Kansas. And I think as we go into these home games, we may well see quite a little bit more of Jacob in this running.
It was a great team goal, I think. Hani wins it in the midfield. Shaq's making a great run down the line, and we had talked at halftime about trying to create chances by getting the ball out wide and making runs in the box. Shaq plays a good ball. I try to lose my guy, make a near post run, and I'm there to put it in. But overall, I'm glad we got a point tonight. It got a little testy there the last 20, 30 minutes. Our guys showed a lot of resiliency, a lot of grit. And I think this was a great week, a great road trip. I got 4 points out of 6, so we got to be proud of that. And now we got to finish the last 5 games of the season off strong.
Yeah, Teal, you kind of talked about getting 4 points from 6. Do you feel like this was the toughest road trip that you guys have had this season? And just how important are those points as you guys are hoping to get a top 4 spot here at the end?
Yeah, it probably was one of the tougher ones just because where we're at in the season, we had, I don't know how many days off or, maybe it was like 18 games without playing a game. So to kind of have that focus still throughout those days where we weren't playing and watching other teams play, I think it really was a big test for us. And I think we showed well. Obviously, we wanted to win tonight, and it would have been nice to have 6 out of 6. But just really proud of the guys for both these games. I think we're moving in the right direction at the right time.
And then you've obviously been in MLS for a while. How tough do you feel like it gets here down the home stretch when you're playing against teams like San Jose who need points to stay alive in their own playoff push? I mean, just thinking about that 5-10 minute stretch they had towards the end where they almost scored a couple of times. How difficult are games like these just to see out?
These are, playoff type atmosphere games where everybody's got to work for each other. At times, it's not even about, playing beautiful soccer or football. It's about, fighting for the guy next to you, putting your body on the line, getting in the right position, getting lucky on plays. And that's what it comes down to, usually towards the end of the season and into the playoffs. It's teams that are mentally focused and that are fighting for each other are going to be the ones that come out on top. It's usually not the teams that are trying to play beautiful soccer. And I think that we obviously want to do that, but it's also good that we're showing that tenacity and working for one another.
Hey, Teal, we're used to the striker position being the one with all the glamour, right? You get all the goals and all that. But every time we watch Nashville SC, we see you tracking back and doing a lot of hold-up play, a lot of defending, and maybe letting others shine. Do you think it's a little harder to play striker in this Nashville SC system with the way the team plays?
I wouldn't say it's harder. I think it's just a different way of playing. I think it's one where you said it, about holding up the ball, trying to get back defensively, essentially just doing whatever it takes to win. And it's, obviously as a forward, I want to score goals whenever I can. But for me, the most important thing is winning games and playing for the guys next to me. So I'll do whatever it takes. So it's not anything that I take for granted, because I want to work hard, and I'll always do that. And I've done that my entire career. And I think everybody on this team knows that, hey, we all got to work for each other. That's in our DNA. So whether you're a center forward or a winger or a midfielder, you got to put that work in defensively, and hopefully we'll create chances, and you can get the glory going forward. But for us, it's a team first mentality.
And just one more. On a lighter note, we've seen you do the same celebration a few times now. Is that something you want to share, or is it a secret?
No, it's not a secret. It's for my girls. My girls wanted me to do this little. It's a little turtle, So started doing that, and it always makes me think of them and their beautiful smiling faces. So that's what that's for. It's just a little fun little turtle thing. Thank you guys very much. Have a good night.